Hello, you are listening to the C Squared podcast with me, Holly, and Curtis. And today we have the wonderful Kieran Scott from DeathCollector and Ashen here with us, and we are going to be talking all things music-y. So thank you so much, Kieran, for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on. It's quite a opportunity for me. I don't get to talk too much. Maybe that's for the betterment of society.
Oh, you've got free reign here. That's all good. But yeah, so shall we start off with like a nutshell interview? We kind of do this thing where we ask if you could give like a little nutshell version about who you are and what you do for anyone who's perhaps not heard of you before.
Okay. Right, in a nutshell, I talk too much. It's going to be difficult. So I'm self-taught graphic artist, vocalist, and also from the ground up promotions. So got into like PR all purely on my own head. So everything I've done, I've just jumped straight in, no prior experience, no education, and I'm literally the definition of just finding your feet while crawling around. Like in a nutshell. Yeah, I think that covered it.
Yeah, right, Curtis.
I realized I was on mute. That's why I was panicking.
Oh, you're on mute again. Okay.
On mute. So
oh, no.
you kind of went a little bit into a little bit of it, but not really. So can you kind of go a little bit in depth on how you got into the music industry and then promoting like an in-depth version now versus?
Yeah. Okay. So basically about 6 years ago, maybe 7 actually now. I was just like come to an opportunity in my life where I thought I love music, but I don't know how to get into it. I had no prior education. I never went to I did college or and I wasn't brought up with like playing an instrument. So it was all very foreign to me. Like everything about the music industry was completely new. So understanding that, I had a period in time in my life going, right, I want to get into this. How do I get into it? And what I discovered was like all things, you just have to jump in head first. So that's what I did. So my first intro into it was vocals, because as I'm a vocalist, that's my first cue in. As I started to do more and more and more and join new bands and projects and Ashen Crown, my circle started getting bigger. People I met, people in the industry from all sides, so PR, promotions, etc. Eventually I just found myself becoming very friendly with a lot of people, making lots of connections. And over the years, when Ashen Crown, we played Bloodstock Festival and things like that, which is a festival in the UK. It's quite a decent one, and that got my identity from an unknown person to right, he's played Bloodstock with this band, right? So, but over a period of time, trying to cut your teeth in an industry where nobody knows you, you're also on mute again, Curtis. I just noticed.
I got it's going upstairs. That's why I have. There's an actual reason for this.
Okay, I just noticed. I was like, is he still on mute? Yeah, but yeah. So within the industry, I just sort of to find my own way, and it comes to favors and people like, oh, I've got this gig going on. Do you want to come and give us a hand? And that's literally how it all worked out. So my vocal journey just basically just got more and more excessively me trying very hard, putting my fingers in all the pies I can, just being like, right, I'll feature on this. Yep, I'll do it for free. Yep, I'll do this. I'll do this cover with you. I'll do on this charity single thing. And it's just literally push, with a promotion aspect. Like me and my friend Michael from a band called Mad Spanner, we in our local town thought, let's just do some small gigs. We had a bad PA, and we just in a small venue and just booked whatever bands we knew would work, and it went very well. So that's where my promotional kind of journey started. And then I joined Smash Promotions in Birmingham, and it just went up from there. So we're now booking crossover metal punk festivals, and now I'm organizing with big bands, and it's just very, very cool. Again, it's literally just keep trying and trying until you get what you want. And in regards to PR, that comes off the back of just joining bands. So obviously, when you're in a band, you want to promote your music, you want to get your stuff out there, you want people to like it, listen to it, and share it. I had to learn from the ground up about how to market, and I don't like marketing because it's got this kind of analysis thing. You analyze humans to a basic, simple level. It's kind of a bit weird. But you know, like things like certain colors and words and things like that, it's bizarre. But once I started to learn how that affected how people perceive things, I then started to adapt that into my approach. Obviously, you've got things like memes and stuff, and I did the memes with Ashen Crown, and it was successful. It got us a lot of attention, but I learned that it garnered the wrong kind of attention, and it made us not look silly, but it was that association with not being taken seriously because memes. So even though it was a double-edged sword, it was got us what the attention we wanted, but not what we wanted overall. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then eventually I just started doing more and more PR for other bands, and then more and more bands I joined that I got better at doing it, more connections I made. And
So
yeah, and that's how I'm here now.
just to clarify, Kieran,
Yes.
because I should have probably asked you before we started.
Okay.
Are you full time in the industry, or is this part time work?
Yeah, it's a mixture because with like my graphic design as well, that pretty much creates most of my main income.
Fair.
You know, and I do a lot of artworks, posters, music videos, you know, like preview videos, logos. That's my main thought sort of thing, and also like doing promotions as well. And then you know, so all those things are sort of like keep me going, but it's very much I'm involved in every aspect, and I can't get away from it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get a break.
You're full time but you got a job that indirectly also
Yeah,
contributes.
it's all interconnected, and I think that's kind of my own creation. I've sort of like trying to woven everything together.
Yeah. I understand. Okay, because I had a bit of a follow up question then,
Okay.
which kind of based upon what you say and kind of what you don't. So forgive me if this doesn't quite fit. But so how did you kind of get to be full time then in the industry?
Well, it started out kind of out of necessity when you're in a band and you're just trying to make it. And I try to create as many shortcuts as I can for myself financially. So learning how to do graphics, learning how to do video editing, learning how to do promotion, and it just sort of kind of fell into it. And other people were coming to me going, "Can you do what you did for your band for my band?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then I get money from them, and then it's just like I've got lots of bits of money just kind of coming in, which is supporting me to allow me to keep doing what I'm doing, and it actually helps everybody else as well. I don't want to be all pious and be like, oh, I have such a selfless thing, but because of everything I do helps other people, that's very satisfying as well. I'm not rolling in money, like there's no reality here. The reality is I'm barely managing, but I'm satisfied. Like I'm very satisfied, and my ideal goal is to get my bands signed, which then makes them self-sustainable, which I'm no longer bleeding money into. And that's kind of the goal of every band.
Yeah.
To make a profit is great, but let's live in the real world here. That's ain't gonna happen unless you're like, I don't know, bands like Ginger and, you know, really big successful bands. You know. So it just kind of I fell into it. It's the best way of putting it.
Yeah, no, I understand that that's kind of similar to how me and Holly did it too. And it's always interesting to hear how other people did as well. So now just to clarify for listeners, because again, you got your fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah.
A lot of pies. What do you consider your actual role then? Are you a PR? Are you a musician? What graphic designer? Like what is the Kieran when you kind of boil it down? What are you? Who are you?
It's an existential question. Who am I? It's a hard one to. You've got.
But what are you like? Because I mean, everybody's got the one role that they kind of identify with. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
Like, are you the promoter? Like, what are you like to yourself? Do you think?
Okay. Right. Okay. The problem that I've got is I'm doing the jack of all trades.
Yeah,
and
I
the
know.
problem is that I master very little, and I get better at them. All the trades get better and better and better, but I don't focus solely, and that's your point. So I guess vocals, vocals, metal vocal, 100%. Not even thinking about it. It was the first thing that got me into it. Everything else was more of a byproduct of my journey, you know, in the industry. So yeah, that I final answer.
Graphic designer, PR, and all the rest of it. second.
Everything
Okay,
else
cool.
just came because of it, and you know, and I'm happy for it to carry on as is. You know, see where it
Yeah.
takes me.
Yeah. No, sorry for asking that, but I always get curious because a lot of people have these different roles.
Yeah.
Like I know, like Holly's got musician, she's got PR, she's got vocalist, she's got guitar, she's keyboard.
Yeah.
So there's all these different roles. I don't do any music, so I can just say I do one thing. But
Yeah.
I'm always curious. So now let me just think if there's anything I want to follow up on that. No, I don't. So I guess it's Holly's question next.
So my question is kind of related to your latest release, because this is with DeathCollector, your new album, which I believe is called Time's Up.
It is, yeah. Well done.
So obviously, yay, I did my research. And I've been seeing all of your posts, all of your promotional stuff, which is kind of what I wanted to ask you about a little bit.
Okay.
How did you find like the PR and promotion process? Because obviously you're doing it for your own album as well, which I don't know, I sometimes find that a little bit tricky almost, because you're more invested in it in a way, because it's your creativity. So yeah, how did you sort of find that one?
Yeah, see, the thing is, right, so I've got 2 releases that I've done promotion for now. So I had a black and death metal band called Grimort. That was over the pandemic, when that first hit off. So we made a little EP, did all the promotion, did all the design work, did it ourselves, self-release. And so that I got a bit of experience from that, and also from Ashen Crown's release, which was more bolstered by a PR company at the time. So I've been like learning and picking up bits. So I find the detachment aspect is very important when you're doing PR. It's never personal, and if they ignore you, it's never personal. And it's always good to remember these things, because, as you know, and other people in the industry, and now I understand as a promoter in PR, the amount of messages you get is absolutely astronomical. Like, you've got every man and his bedroom band and his sort of side project and his main band just messaging you, go, can you help us out? Can you promote this and that? And I'm there like, I can't, because if I do, I'll die. Like, just exhausted, and every day, all day, ba-ding, phone, notification, share this, there's a new thing, new review is up, bang, bang. So it's very exhausting. So what I've to kind of like realize is that even though I do like helping other people out, if I've got a release coming up, I shut off all other things. I go, sorry, no, sorry. And I'm not letting them down. I'm just telling them the truth. I don't want to juggle their releases with mine. With the DeathCollector release, that was my plan. The guys I really appreciate them for letting me do my plan. All my experiences and all my research that I've done, I have this kind of like PR philosophy of to make waves, not splashes. So basically you need to create a continuous like wave that just ripples rather than just and then everyone forgets you. It's more about being consistent and engaging content, or things that are quick, that you don't have to read into, that things that you don't have to pay too much attention to. So like, for example, when I said earlier about learning about marketing, the color red is the best color to use to get attention to anything new. Red psychologically is an alert color. It's a danger color. It's what is that? And it's one of those things that red will always stand out more than any other color in regards, and it works like that. So it was a little bit manipulative and strategic with the DeathCollector color scheme, because it brought lots of attention to it, and it worked. It fantastically worked. People are like, "Ooh, red! I like red." And if you noticed, I like red. There's lots of red behind me.
I'm admiring your background. It's very nice.
Well, thank you. But yeah. So with DeathCollector, my plan is to create this wave system, and the way that it is, it's like, so it goes in stages. The first stage is like obviously get all of your content that you're going to have produced, and how you can utilize it to its best potential within the new realms of social media, because it's always changing. Like this now, Reels is a thing. It's like, but amazing. It's also an amazing thing, but I'll get to that. So what I've realized is that we went from a point of pictures were the thing, memes. We're actually growing out of that now. That's changing. Memes are still kind of there, but videos are becoming more prevalent than ever, and I blame TikTok for that. Like, no, honestly, like short videos, like Vines, things like that, they are the most effective promotion format I've ever seen. Because I'm on TikTok and I've got about 6,000 followers on it now on my personal account. And that's random. There's no real method to it. It just is. And I've been gaining some reputation on there. But with this release, the plan was, as I said, so I digress. I'll go back a bit. So get all your content sorted, how you want it to like package it, how you want it to be perceived. And what I find is to be very consistent with how it all is looked, so it's recognizable. So the red, the theme of like the background and everything, keep everything the same. Don't use other things. You know, you want to keep it all on theme, all on concept. And like, so reviews, for example, you probably saw the way that I do reviews. I do a snippet of it on a nice graphic tile, and then I'll link the actual review, because nobody reads reviews, by the way. Like, no one. The review is personally to the band. Like, no one else really reads them. They have no reason to read them. Like, if they maybe want to get some feedback on an album, it's very unlikely. Everything's free, so they probably just listen to it anyway. But what I found is that those tiles were so like they were snappy. Like, you could just look at it and go, oh wow. Numbers help as well. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. It makes people go, oh, that's good number. Like, that's high number. You know, it's literally, it sounds really silly, and I'm not trying to be like, you know, condescending to people, but that's how we work. You know, we see high numbers, we're like, that's good. You know, so like it's one of those things. Like, and then also with those tiles, I've also, you may have seen as well, done a video compilation with the music in the background, fading in between the different songs, you know, review video, which is now, we've spanned that out. That's all gone to all the socials, and that's gaining a lot of attention because you can hear the music and you got the review. So it's like, well, I'm hearing bits. I'm liking what I'm hearing, hopefully. The reviews are good. So what it is, it's a positive affirmation. I'm reinforcing the positivity. It's like, positive, high numbers, positive. Look at these reviews. Like, listen to the music. And that's what you've got to do. You can't just release something and go, here you go. Everyone's going to go, okay, cool. This band's marketed themselves far better. I'm going to go listen to these probably because other people are talking about them because they're marketed better. What I find is like, as a new band as well, trying to get people to listen to your music is almost impossible. Like, it sounds silly and it sounds a bit dramatic. So, like, for example, there's people that I've worked with in the industry for years and years and years and years and years. I've got this new band, and they go, yeah, cool. They're not interested because there's a new band every week. There's a new band every day. Unless there's a notable thing about the band, they're going to be like, one of the advantages that I've got at DeathCollector is that Andy Whale is from Bolt Thrower is our drummer, which is a huge thing, and I won't ignore it. Like, it's a huge pull. You know, like, and people who love Bolt Thrower, love the old school death metal, are going to go, oh, give it a listen. They may not like it, or they might like it. But that is an advantageous thing that I will use, but not overbearingly. It'll be more subtle. So the strategies in regards to like tackling the release was definitely quite educational, but very well planned out. One of my favorite things as well is that like, create great merchandise, simple, effective merchandise that is, again, on concept and on theme with everything else that you've put out, because it's got the association aspect to it. You're associating with it, and it's got that attachment. I like this thing. This thing is also looking like the thing I like. I'm going to get that because I like it. It's silly. It sounds silly, but it's true. Like, I do it all the time. I'm like, ooh, album shit. Like, I'm bad for it. I really am. But, you know, it's one of those. I'm trying to think what else in regards to the release. One thing, definitely, don't spam people in their inboxes. Like, it's all right if you know them and you've got one-to-one like rapport with them. That's fine. But just don't be that guy just going, hey, check out my new band, and then just doesn't talk to them again. You're just going to get deleted.
There's a fine line. This is an interjection between spamming and getting in communication with people. Like, sometimes you can get too much communication. One thing I hate is when someone starts trying to talk to me, obviously just trying to get me to do something random. Hey, how's it going? I don't know you. Like, what do you want? You know what I mean? But at the same time, you have to be polite and you have to kind of figure out the right way to do it. But let's talk a little bit about the spamming people for just one brief second, because I don't want to design, Holly. I'm sorry, but I'm skipping the graphic design. You can talk about the graphic.
It's fine. We can
Graphic
come back to that.
first.
To be fair, we've done a lot on that anyway.
You can talk about graphic design. I'm not a graphic design guy. So let's talk about spam for a brief second. So what's your distinguisher between spamming someone and following up, just out of curiosity?
Right. So as somebody on the receiving end of it a lot, I find that I will listen to pretty much anything anyone sends me, but that's me. Because not everyone is me, and I understand that. So when I'm approaching other people, what I tend to do, I think is very important, is say what you want in the first line, but in the nicest way possible. So just be like, hi, got this new band, love to see if you check it out, blah, blah, blah. Hope you're right. If not, don't worry, that's fine too. That non-committal, polite and simple, straight to the point, people like that. Because a lot of people, as I said before, I have so many messages all the time and trawling through. I don't want to have 6 conversations with people trying to butter me up to send me their EP. Just send me it. Okay. And if I check it out, I check it out. And if I don't, I don't. I mean, none of it's personal. The only time it gets personal is if they become very demanding, or or if you don't listen to it and they're just like, have you listened to it? And I'm like, I'm definitely not listening to it now. It's like,
that's good. Well, wait a minute, because let me ask you this: so you don't like follow up? Then you don't like the follow up?
No, not if they're rude. If they're rude at the start and then they follow up it, and then it's like extra nail in the coffin. I'm like, I'm definitely not listening to it now.
No, I get it.
Though, I mean, if I come across that band in my travels, that's different. But I find that kind of approach really rude. I mean, it's different if they say, if I said, oh, remind me, that's different.
Yeah.
Because I have done that a few times. I go, I'll listen to it, blah, 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 remind me, sort of thing.
Yeah, because what I usually do personally, this is me. I'm curious how it works for you. Like when I'm pitching someone, like if I just automatically assume either A, they're not interested, or B, see the email because they had too much. So usually what I'll do personally, I just want to hear your take on this, is email or something like that, and I don't hear back. What I'll usually do is I'll follow up in like 3 to 4 days, just saying, hey, just wondering if you saw the email. And if I don't hear back after that point, unless I know the person and I know what their inbox is like.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got an interesting perspective on this, I think. So I find emails to be either great or terrible. I never have a medium with them. Because the problem is with emails, you've got to understand the difference between BCC and CC and things like that. A lot of people don't like to be sent emails with their email public knowledge. Now, that I already understand that's an issue. And also, when you're sending emails to new accounts, you're going to be in spam. You're very likely going to hit the inbox. So what I find helpful, send an email, find their social media, and just drop them a courtesy message, just being like, just to let you know, send you a message, blah, 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 just to make sure you want to get it. Hope to hear back from you soon. Nice and polite and courteous. I find that has got me more than just the email itself or a follow-up. And that's just my experience, but I think that's something that I feel has become more of a norm, because emails, even though they're not redundant yet, social media is kind of starting is taking over. I mean, as you saw with Facebook, they changed the way band accounts work. So now band accounts are more personal. They're much more intimate, which I'm still kind of getting used to, because my brain is still in band account is separate to personal account. Yeah. So I say these days people are more approachable. They're less standoffish, and I guess it depends on their work ethic, because some people's like, when I'm finished work, I finish work, and then emails I'll read later. So I think that's probably my take on that, I'd say. Yeah.
Makes sense. So we're down to about 5 minutes left, Holly. So you get to make it count. Make it count.
Oh, I'm under pressure now.
Yep.
Right. Well, okay. Well, we've done quite a lot of graphic design. So we kind of covered questions I was going to ask on branding. So something that might be quite good to ask you is, are there any, I don't know, common branding mistakes that you see other bands make that you think could be maybe fairly easily rectified?
Oh, quality. Oh, just quality. Right. Okay. My hugest gripe is you've got terrible video quality, and you want people to watch it. It's a video. I'm like, no one's gonna watch it. People are so conditioned to clear HD, the next, bright, colorful, good lighting, things like that. I understand all that. I mean, as you can see, I'm lit up like a Christmas tree over here. and you've got to have the gear, you've got to have the microphone, you've got to sound great, you've got to look great, you know, and people expect it. It's expected. Like, and as metal, specifically metal, as becomes more modern, it becomes better quality, and that divide is can be make or break for a lot of people, because a lot of metal fans have come to an expectation of high quality artwork, high quality merch, high quality audio, high quality videos. The difference is between then there's preference, of course. People prefer music that's mixed terribly, and that's fine. But, you know, like, the point is really, it's just kind of keep making sure you understand that your competition is probably better looking, clearer, better quality, better videos, more content, and good quality content at that. And this day and age, it's all about consuming, right? So bands are no longer bands anymore. They're kind of like media giants. So, like, for example, there's a band called Raised by Owls, right? Raised by Owls are a grindcore band, and they are very silly and stupid, but they create amazing skits and really great comedic videos that go all over the world, and they are huge because of it, and the quality is top. The audio quality, the video quality, the props, everything they do, they put so much effort into that, and that pays off for them. And that's an example of creating high quality content for the betterment of the band. But yeah, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people make. They just think, oh, the music's great, so people will like it. It's like, yeah, but you need to market it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else we want to cover with. I mean, there's probably is, but we're running out of time here. Kieran, is there anything you want to say that we haven't touched?
Yeah, okay. So basically, one thing I've understood, we didn't go across this yet, but I think maybe another time. Streaming, social media and streaming, right? Streaming sites are fantastic. If you think otherwise, you're missing out. Social media platforms are fantastic. Like, they are untapped for most bands. TikTok, get on it. If you're in a band, go on TikTok. You are missing out on millions of potential fans. Not 100, not 20, potentially millions.
Yep.
Like, you have no idea who's on there as well. I've made so many great contacts on TikTok who are people that are very well established in the industry. So it's amazing who you meet, and the collaborations you can do on there give you a lot of attention and clout. And also, don't shy away from new things, like, you know, new streaming things. So this Reels thing that's on Facebook and Instagram, they're currently pushing it in the algorithm. Get on it. You ain't going to miss out.
Yep. And then anything you want to push out of your many things?
Suppose, yeah. We've got, obviously mentioned DeathCollector's EP dropped on the 4th of March. It has gone crazy since it's been out. And if you want to find us, we're on all streaming platforms. You name it, it's there. Also, if you want to check out my other band, Ashen, we released an album just before the pandemic hit, and it's been very well received, but unfortunately didn't go as well as we'd like because the pandemic hit and it sucked. So it'd be good to get that some love and attention. But yeah, so that'll be me plugging.
Cool. So Holly, do your famous outro.
My famous outro that doesn't exist yet because I can't think of anything decent. Yeah, that great. Oh well. Thanks so much for listening. See you next time.
Thank you for having me.